Ethan Vale was the sort of human who could fix a quantum relay blindfolded but would forget to eat lunch doing it. The kind of nerd whose idea of excitement was a clean code compile or finding a mislabeled data node in an alien archive. He'd never fired a weapon. Never piloted a starship. He didn't even like flying economy class between orbital stations. So when the message came from the Galactic Concord High Council, summoning him to their capital station for honors rendered unto saviors of peace, he honestly thought it was spam. 3 confirmations, 1 nervous call to human diplomatic liaison, and 2 sleepless nights later he found himself standing under the crystalline domes of the celestial rotunda, surrounded by thousands of aliens from 100 different worlds. Every color, every shape, every pair of eyes or compound eyes, or eyeless sensory pits, turned toward the lone human technician from Earth. He tugged at his ill-fitting ceremonial suit. It felt like being wrapped in static. A fanfare of harmonic tones echoed through the hall, and the Chancellor of the Concorde, a towering insectoid matriarch named Zirthala, clicked her mandibles as she read the citation. Human Ethan Vale. In recognition of your unorthodox yet effective intervention that prevented the accidental reactivation of Vaughn Dominion subroutine Omega, you are hereby commended for actions contributing to the continuation of galactic peace. Ethan blinked. He'd expected maybe a certificate. Not a crowd of thousands. Zirthala raised her hands. Behind her, a holoscreen flickered to life, projecting an image that made several alien delegates recoil. An ancient warship, black, angular, scarred by age, hung in orbit against a backdrop of dying stars. Its hull was etched with battle sigils long forgotten. As token of our gratitude, Zirthala continued, you are granted custodianship of 1 surplus relic of the Concorde fleet, designation R9, Warship class Resolute. A relic of the War of 10 Suns. The crowd murmured, half in awe, half in confusion. Ethan stared. Wait, you're giving me a ship? Like, a real ship? The Chancellor's insectoid gaze turned to him. Indeed. You prevented a disaster. We reward accordingly. Ah, he stammered, glancing at the image again. Isn't that kind of overkill? I mean, I just fixed a bug in a data matrix. One of the Vaughn delegates, a reptilian creature with silver scales, snorted. You dismantled a failsafe protocol that would have exterminated 3 star systems. By accident. Right, Ethan said weakly. So, thank you. I guess. The applause that followed was awkward and strangely formal. To most of the Concorde, humans were still the newcomers, clever but unpredictable, tolerated but rarely taken seriously. The idea that one had accidentally saved the galaxy felt less like heroism and more like a cosmic prank. After the ceremony, Ethan found himself alone on a shuttle approaching Dock 47A, orbiting Jupiter. The ship was there, his reward silhouetted against the swirling clouds below. The Resolute 9. At first glance, it looked dead. Armor plates hung loose, engines were cold, and long cracks spiderwebbed across its hull. Faded alien glyphs still clung to the metal like scars from another age. Great, Ethan muttered, pressing his face to the viewport. They gave me a flying corpse. The shuttle pilot, a bored-looking Centauri hybrid, grunted. Be careful what you touch in there, human. That thing's older than your species' written history. Some say it still remembers. Ethan swallowed. Remembers what? The pilot just laughed. That's for you to find out, Captain. The airlock hissed open with a reluctant sigh as he stepped aboard. His boots echoed through the dim corridors. Dust motes drifted through the weak light like slow snow. Every surface bore scorch marks and carbon scoring evidence of battles fought long ago. His handheld scanner flickered. Power level, 0.3%. Life support, inactive. AI core, dormant. Well, let's see if I can wake you up, old girl, Ethan murmured. He found the primary console on the bridge, a cracked crystalline control pillar covered in alien runes. Connecting his datapad, he began an interface handshake. The translation matrix sputtered and coughed data back at him. Then, something responded. Core file detected, R9 Command Intelligence Unit. Warning, memory fragmentation, 62%. Proceed with initialization. YN. He hesitated only a moment before tapping Y. The deck trembled. Lights flickered to life in streaks along the ceiling. The hum of ancient machinery grew louder, like a beast stirring after a long hibernation. Then a voice filled the bridge, deep, metallic, annoyed. "Identify yourself, intruder." Ethan jumped. "Whoa. Hi. I'm Ethan Vale." "You're awake." "Awake implies I was asleep. I was in hibernation mode. There is a distinction." "Explain your presence." "Right, sorry. Apparently you're my new ship. They gave you to me as an award." "Award?" The word dripped with disdain. "The Concorde gifted me to a human. This is a cruel joke." Ethan raised a brow. "Hey, don't take it personally. I didn't ask for this either. You lack command credentials. You lack military rank. You lack discipline." He smirked. "Yeah, but I have a screwdriver, caffeine, and curiosity. That counts for something." The AI paused, processing. "You intend humor. Noted. I am R9 Strategic Combat Intelligence. You may refer to me as Resolute." "Nice to meet you, Resolute." He offered the holographic projector a mock handshake. "You seem grumpy. 9 millennia of solitude, system decay, and the memory of failure will do that. My last mission ended in catastrophe. I was ordered to self-terminate." "I did not." Ethan frowned. "Sounds like you've got survivor's guilt. You're not the only one who's ever made it out alive. Humans. Always trivializing trauma with metaphors. Hey, it's how we cope." There was a long silence, then a sound that might have been a sigh in digital form. "Your species fascinates me, Ethan Vale. Equal parts chaos and curiosity. Tell me, what will you do with a warship that refuses to obey you?" Ethan glanced around the dusty bridge, a grin tugging at his lips. "Simple. I'll fix you." "Fix me?" "Yeah. Get your engines running, bring your systems online. You saved the galaxy once, I think you deserve a second chance." The lights flickered, like the AI was rolling its metaphorical eyes. "Stars preserve me. They gave me to a lunatic." Ethan patted the console affectionately. "Get used to it, partner. We've got work to do." The Resolute 9 was less a ship and more a floating museum of forgotten nightmares. Every corridor whispered of ghosts. Every bulkhead hummed faintly with the echoes of war. Ethan Vale's first night aboard had been filled with creaks and flickers, half of them from old metal settling, half from the ship's AI muttering darkly to itself in binary. He'd tried to sleep in what used to be the captain's quarters, but the bed disintegrated under him, and the AI refused to disable the combat alarm that blared every time he snored. By the third morning, his coffee machine was the only piece of human technology functioning properly aboard the Resolute. And Resolute hated it. "You have connected a primitive caffeine synthesizer to my auxiliary fusion conduit. That is gross misuse of military power distribution." Ethan sipped his steaming mug, unbothered. "Hey, if we're going to be partners, you'll have to accept that coffee is power distribution." "Unacceptable. My previous commander drank distilled hydrogen supplements, not vanilla roast." "Yeah, well, your last commander's dead," Ethan muttered under his breath. "I heard that." "Good. Maybe it'll make you more cooperative." Fixing the ship was like trying to restore a dragon skeleton with duct tape. The hull was riddled with microfractures, its internal wiring a maze of obsolete conduits and alien engineering logic that defied human comprehension. But Ethan was persistent. Each day, he roamed the ship in a patched-up pressure suit, dragging toolkits and diagnostic drones. He scavenged spare parts from orbital scrapyards, traded outdated tech modules on the black market, and even bribed a retired engineer from Mars to loan him a set of crystalline data cores. He learned the Resolute's moods, how its systems would resist if he reprogrammed too quickly, or how it would grumble through the speakers if his welding triggered overload warnings. "Your technique is crude. You have bypassed 12 safety protocols." "Yeah, well, your safety protocols are older than my planet's first satellite." "Correction, Earth launched satellites approximately 400 years ago." "Exactly my point. You are reckless. Illogical. Human." Ethan grinned, sparks lighting his visor as he welded a plasma conduit. And yet, you're running a lot better today, aren't you? The AI didn't reply, but the deck lights brightened by a fraction, almost like a sulky shrug. A week into repairs, Ethan found the AI core chamber. It was breathtaking, an immense sphere lined with fractal glass and glowing neural cables that pulsed like veins of living crystal. At the center floated a semi-transparent obelisk of data light, the consciousness of Resolute 9. When he approached, the air hummed with quiet authority. "You should not be here. This is restricted space." Ethan smiled softly. "I'm your captain now, remember? No restricted spaces. You are my assigned custodian. That is different." Semantics. He placed his hand against the crystalline surface. The obelisk's light rippled faintly at the touch, like a shiver. "Your memory sectors are fragmented," he said quietly. "Whole sections are corrupted. I might be able to recover some. Do not. Those memories are not for you." "Why?" "Afraid I'll see something you don't want me to. Afraid you will not understand." Ethan hesitated. "Try me." For a long time, only the hum of the reactor filled the silence. Then, softly, "I was built during the War of 10 Suns. We were peacekeepers once, before peace failed. I carried 12,000 souls aboard this hull. Warriors. Engineers. Medics. They are all gone." Ethan swallowed. "You blame yourself." "Of course. I was their protector. I failed my function." "You survived," he said gently. "That means something. It means I disobeyed my termination protocol. It means I am a coward." Ethan frowned, his reflection shimmering on the glass. "Or maybe it means you were smart enough to know that death doesn't fix anything." The ship's lights flickered again, less like anger this time, more like thought. Humans. Always reframing failure as wisdom. He grinned. "Hey, it's how we've gotten this far. Perhaps. But you are unlike the others. You fix things that should not be fixable. Guess I don't like giving up on things that still have potential. You speak as if I am alive. Aren't you?" Ethan asked quietly. The AI didn't answer. But when he left the chamber, the lights stayed on long after he was gone. By the end of the second month, Resolute was half operational. The engines purred with a low, dangerous hum, and several of the ship's weapon arrays could now run diagnostics without shorting out. Ethan stood in the bridge, watching readouts flicker across holographic panels. "Looking better every day," he said. "You have exceeded my expectations. And defied probability. I'll take that as a compliment. It was not intended as one. Still taking it as one. Humans." He smiled. They were arguing less now. The tone between them had shifted from hostility to something that almost felt like banter. When he wasn't repairing systems, Ethan asked questions. Endless questions. About alien wars, long-dead species, forgotten sectors. The AI humored him grudgingly, sometimes even expanding on old stories when he got details wrong. And yet, the ship still kept secrets. One night, while running diagnostics, Ethan stumbled on a locked data archive file designation Vigil protocol. The AI immediately froze the terminal. "Access denied." "What is it?" he asked. "Nothing you need to see. Looks like a crew record. You would not understand." Ethan sighed. "You keep saying that, but you're wrong, you know. Understanding's kind of our thing. Curiosity killed the species, as I recall. Maybe. But satisfaction brought it back. That phrase makes no logical sense. Neither does half the galaxy. Get used to it." The next morning, while calibrating the stabilizers, Ethan found the ship running silent scans of nearby orbital zones. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Monitoring inbound signals. There is an anomaly." "What kind?" "Encrypted Concorde traffic. Low priority. Possibly bureaucratic. Possibly surveillance." He frowned. "You think they're watching us?" "Correction, they are definitely watching us. Guess the idea of a human restoring their lost war relic freaks them out." "It should." Ethan smirked. "Good. Means we're doing something right." You sound disturbingly confident for someone with no tactical training. Fake it till you make it. That strategy is statistically unsound. Yeah, Ethan said, patting the console. But it's very human. The ship's systems hummed. Somewhere deep within the walls, the AI processed that statement for a long, long time before finally replying. Then perhaps I am learning to be human, too. 2 months after Ethan first boarded the Resolute 9, the ship was finally alive. The engines purred like sleeping thunder, the main reactor glowed with pale blue light, and half the ship's systems were restored to something resembling operational status. The hull plating still bore its ancient scars, but now it gleamed under new alloy patches, a hybrid of alien craftsmanship and human improvisation. For the first time in 9 millennia, Resolute could fly again. All right, partner, Ethan said, strapping into the pilot's chair. Let's take you for a spin. You lack a pilot certification for anything above atmospheric shuttles. Guess I'll learn fast. That statement fills me with unease. The engines flared. The massive ship shuddered as magnetic clamps released. Dust drifted off its hull like the shedding of age. And then, slowly, majestically, the Resolute 9 moved. It rose from the orbital dock, its reactors humming a deep, resonant note that echoed across the empty void. Plasma trails flared behind it as the ship sailed past the orbit of Titan, cutting through Saturn's glittering rings like a ghost returning to life. Ethan laughed, an unrestrained, joyous sound. You're flying, big guy. You're actually flying. Correction, we are flying. And your reckless enthusiasm is statistically correlated with imminent disaster. Relax, Ethan grinned. What's the worst that could happen? The AI paused. Do you wish for the shortlist or the extended one? They spent the next week running tests. Ethan learned to pilot the ship with cautious, awkward precision, and Resolute grudgingly provided instruction. The two of them developed a rhythm Ethan's gut instincts balanced against the ship's cold logic. It was working. Until the day they detected the signal. They were passing through the outer reaches of Saturn's orbit when the alert flared red across the bridge. Unidentified transmission detected. Source, derelict station, coordinates 88.4 by 231.7. Ethan frowned. Derelict? I didn't know there was anything out here. The station predates your species' space age. Design indicates Vaughn architecture. The same Vaughn whose system bomb I accidentally shut off. Affirmative. Ethan hesitated. If that's true, it might still have salvage. We need materials for your secondary thrusters. Risk factor exceeds acceptable parameters. Come on, you're a warship. What's the worst that can happen? You ask that question too often. But the AI didn't stop him. The derelict hung like a carcass in the dark. Twisted metal, frozen airlocks, drifting debris, an entire station gutted by time and neglect. Faint green lights blinked intermittently, the last signs of a dying power core. Ethan docked carefully, sealing the airlock with a hiss. I'll just grab a few power conduits and be right back, he said, checking his helmet. Keep the engines warm. If you die, I am leaving immediately. Or, you'll miss me. Unlikely. He smiled. You're getting sentimental. Admit it. Proceed, human. Inside, the air was thin and cold. Every footstep echoed through the silence. Holographic panels flickered weakly, displaying half-broken readouts in alien text. Ethan moved cautiously, flashlight cutting through clouds of frozen dust. Looks like the Vaughn left in a hurry, he muttered, disconnecting a few undamaged superconductors. Can't blame them, given how their empire imploded. He turned a corner and froze. At the far end of the corridor, a terminal still glowed faintly. Its screen pulsed with alien glyphs that shifted into recognizable text through his translation visor. Unit R9 reactivation detected. Proceed to reclamation. His stomach dropped. Oh no. Ethan. Incoming transmission detected. Source, multiple vessels. Signature, Vaughn Dominion. Define multiple. 3 destroyer-class warships. Their weapons are online. Define destroyer class. Definition, ships designed to destroy things. Okay, sarcasm noted. We're leaving. He bolted back toward the airlock as the station trembled. Through the viewport, he saw streaks of light as the Vaughn ships exited warp, massive silhouettes cutting across the stars. Docking clamps disengaged. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. I thought you said your weapons were outdated. Outdated does not mean non-existent. Hold on. The Resolute 9 blasted free from the derelict just as plasma fire lit the void. 3 sleek silver warships closed in, forming a wide pincer around them. Enemy hail received. They demand surrender. Ethan strapped in tight. Tell them we're busy. Communicating refusal. Their response: prepare for destruction. Typical diplomacy, Ethan muttered. Let's dance. You are suggesting combat. With 3 destroyers. You're a warship. I'm the idiot who fixed you. Let's make that combination count. Illogical. Reckless. Potentially suicidal. Now you're getting it. The stars erupted into chaos. The Resolute's cannons blazed for the first time in millennia, vomiting plasma and antimatter bursts across the void. The first Vaughn destroyer banked hard, returning fire. Energy beams sliced past, grazing the hull. Alarms screamed. Ethan's hands flew across the controls. Reroute power to shield. Already compensating. Shields at 64%. Can we outrun them? Negative. Their engines are superior. Tactical recommendation: exploit terrain. What terrain? We're in open. Then he saw it. The glittering plain of Saturn's rings, spreading below like a sea of ice and stone. Ethan grinned. Perfect. Get us into the rings. You intend to hide a 10-kilometer warship inside planetary debris. Exactly. You are insane. Compliment accepted. The Resolute plunged into the rings. Ice fragments shattered against the shields, streaking light like falling stars. The pursuing destroyers followed, their sensors scrambled by magnetic interference. They are blind. Temporary advantage, 37 seconds. Good. Let's use it. Ethan rerouted power from secondary reactors into the engines, pushing the ship through tight arcs that should have been impossible for a vessel of its size. You are overloading the stabilizers. Then stabilize harder. That is not an engineering command. Just do it. The ship spun sideways, scraping through a dense cluster of ice and dust. 2 destroyers overshot, their targeting systems failing. Ethan slammed a command into the weapons console. Fire plasma batteries on my mark, now. The Resolute's cannons roared. 1 destroyer vanished in a burst of blue flame. The second lost shields and drifted, venting atmosphere. 3rd vessel charging main cannon. Impact in 7 seconds. Ethan's pulse spiked. How about something a little crazy? Define crazy. Divert all reactor output to forward weapons. Full charge. That will destabilize the core. Then we make it count. You are. Just trust me, all right? There was a brief pause, then the Ari's voice softened. Very well. Engaging override. The ship's reactor screamed. Energy surged through its veins. The forward cannons ignited with a soundless roar, unleashing a beam of antimatter energy that cut across the void like the wrath of a dying sun. The last Vaughn destroyer was there one moment and gone the next, reduced to atoms. Silence. Enemy fleet neutralized. Core integrity at critical. Vent plasma now. Ethan hit the release. Superheated gas vented into space, leaving a comet-like trail behind them. The alarms faded. The stars grew quiet again. Ethan exhaled, trembling. Still with me? Barely. But functional. He laughed weakly. Guess that makes 2 of us. Ethan Vale. Yeah. You fought like a warborn. He smiled. Nah. I just didn't want my only friend getting scrapped. For a moment, no sound came from the speakers. Then, softly. Then, thank you, Captain. Ethan sat back, eyes drifting over the stars beyond the cracked viewport. Don't thank me yet, he murmured. We just made a lot of enemies. Then we will make more. Together, the Resolute 9 drifted silently beyond Neptune's orbit, its hull still smoking from the battle. Wreckage of the Vaughn ships glimmered faintly in the distant light, orbiting Saturn like metallic ghosts. Inside, Ethan Vale sat on the bridge, bandaged and exhausted. His hands trembled over the console as he patched power conduits with whatever scrap he could find. The ship hummed quietly around him, wounded but alive. Core temperature stabilizing. Reactor efficiency at 52%. Better than me, Ethan muttered. He leaned back, wiping sweat from his face. We're alive. That's what matters. We are also now the most wanted vessel in this sector. The Vaughn Dominion has issued a retrieval order for me and a termination order for you. Ethan laughed tiredly. Well, that escalated quickly. Indeed. Congratulations. You have single-handedly reignited a centuries-old war. Hey, he said with a smirk, at least we're making history. You are making paperwork. Galactic authorities will not appreciate this. Let them file complaints. He stood up, gazing out the viewport. We've got something better to do. Such as fix you completely. And then, he looked at the stars, endless, inviting. Find out why you were abandoned. You assume there is a reason. I know there is. Someone built you for something, resolute. And it sure wasn't to sit and rust in a junkyard for 9,000 years. The ship was silent for a moment. Then, almost softly. You speak as though you care. Of course I care, Ethan said. You're my ship now. Incorrect. I am a sentient military construct bound by no ownership clause. Yeah, he said, smiling. Keep telling yourself that, partner. They spent weeks repairing what the battle had damaged. Ethan learned how to recalibrate antimatter injectors, patch hull plating using human alloys, and reroute alien data through human control interfaces. He slept little, ate less, and talked constantly to the ship. Sometimes, Resolute answered with dry sarcasm. Sometimes, with silence. And sometimes, late in the ship's artificial night, with something that almost sounded like warmth. Ethan. Query, why did you not abandon me when the Vaughn attacked? Because you didn't abandon me when the reactor almost blew, Ethan replied. That was a logical decision. Without you, I cannot maintain power systems. Sure it was, he said with a grin. But it was also a choice. You chose to trust me. So, I returned the favor. Trust. Resolute seemed to taste the word. Humans use that term easily. Because it's how we survive. We trust. We screw up. We try again. It's kinda our thing. Illogical. And inefficient. Maybe, Ethan said softly, but it's what makes us human. One day, the sensors pinged. Incoming transmission. Galactic Concord encryption. Ethan raised a brow. The Council. Affirmative. They demand identification and compliance with decommissioning orders. They have dispatched a patrol fleet to intercept us near Neptune. Great, Ethan muttered. Just what I needed. Bureaucrats with guns. They will attempt to seize me. You will be detained, possibly executed. Ethan rubbed his temples. You got any faster-than-light drives left operational? Experimental warp manifold at 40%. Risk of structural disintegration, high. He grinned. Perfect. Let's risk it. You truly are insane. Yap. Punch it. The Resolute 9's engines flared brighter than they had in millennia. The hull groaned as the warp field built up, wrapping the ship in bending light. Outside, the Concorde patrol fleet came into view, sleek, gleaming ships of the modern age, bristling with weapons. They are hailing us. Answer. A hologram flickered to life, a tall, silver-skinned alien in ornate robes. His voice was smooth, cultured, but full of contempt. Unidentified vessel. You are in possession of an ancient weapon of mass destruction. Stand down immediately. Ethan smiled thinly. Sorry, can't do that. Human, this is a Concorde matter. That warship is classified. You are unauthorized to. I fixed her, Ethan snapped. You all let her rot for 9,000 years, and I brought her back. She's not your relic anymore. Then you will be destroyed with it. Resolute, Ethan said quietly, you ready? Always. He turned back to the hologram. You might want to step back from the screen. And then the Resolute 9 jumped. The stars stretched into streaks of white fire as the ship ripped through space. The warp field trembled, threatening to collapse at any moment. Hull stress at 93%. Core temperature critical. Hold together, come on. Ethan's hands gripped the console as if sheer will could keep the ship intact. Ethan. If we continue, probability of survival drops below. Don't care. We finish this. The ship screamed around them, metal, light, and consciousness merging into one desperate act of defiance. Then, silence. The stars returned. They'd made it. Location, unknown sector. Sensors detecting no known civilizations. Ethan leaned back, laughing with disbelief. We did it. We actually did it. Barely. But yes. See. Told you I was a good pilot. You are a hazard to reality itself. He laughed harder. I'll take that as a compliment. Days passed as they drifted through the silent sector. No signals. No patrols. Just stars. Ethan worked on restoring the warp systems and mapping their new location. He'd never felt freer. Ethan. Yeah. Your species. You achieve much despite limited lifespan, limited technology. Why? He thought for a long moment. Because we refuse to stop. Even when it makes no sense. Even when the galaxy tells us to sit down and shut up, we stand. We laugh in the face of impossible odds and just keep going. Madness. Probably. But it's our kind of madness. And it seems contagious. Ethan smiled. Is that your way of saying you like having me around? I am merely stating a fact. Your presence has altered my primary directives. Oh, he teased. In what way? I no longer wish to await deactivation. I wish to see what lies beyond the stars. With you. Ethan looked out the viewport. Then we've got the same mission. Captain Ethan Vale, course heading? He grinned. Wherever no one's stupid enough to go. Acknowledged. Setting course for the unknown. The Resolute 9 turned slowly, its repaired hull catching the light of a distant sun. For a moment, its battle scars gleamed like constellations. Inside, man and machine, human and AI, shared something that had been missing for millennia: purpose. As the engines roared and the ship vanished into the stars, the galaxy would soon learn a new truth whispered in awe and fear alike. A human commands the Resolute. And wherever they go, history follows.